Another week is upon us, mate, with Dan, list manager Dan. Let's talk today about one of the most important matchups, what we think is going to happen. It's Patrick Cripps and Elliot Yeo. Now, we would love to see the two of these bulls go head-to-head. The reality is, we don't know if this is actually going to happen, but what we want to do in this video is just have a look at, the two midfield alpha dogs, if you want to call them, the two raging bulls for each side, and see how they match up with each other. And Dan, take it away, mate.
Yeah, so we've got Cripps versus Yeo. So Simpson said earlier in the week that it's going to be dealt with about 3 or 4 players.
Yep.
But Yeo will definitely be the main man. Mm-hmm. So let's have a look at them in depth. So we can see Cripper finds a lot more of the ball than Yeo. Contested possessions as well. We know Cripps is an animal when it comes to that. Interesting enough though, Yeo, because he plays that more defensive role than Cripper does, he does seem to get more intercepts and he seems to stifle play. You can see his tackle numbers are very high as well.
Does he play a little bit more behind the ball as a relief guy sometimes when things aren't going so good for them?
He's definitely the kind of guy that tries to change the momentum. So if they're getting overrun in the middle, which is predominantly what people are doing with West Coast, they're trying to stifle first use.
Yep.
He's that kind of go-to guy. Like for Carlton, Cripps is the same. He kind of gets stuck in, smashes into the pack, gets the ball out for the better players.
Yep.
But all in all, you look, the greens there quite clearly in favour.
Quite convincing. Yeah, I mean, it's not to say that Elliot Yeo is not a superstar. I mean, if you have a look at the makeup of West Coast, they're probably a little bit more stretched in terms of their talent than what we are. So, Elliot Yeo doesn't necessarily need to do the same sort of bulk work that Cripps does. Yeah. I think it's just going to show a little bit more about how the midfield bulls stack up against each other. How would you see this matchup though? If they were to go head to head, what kind of, would it be dynamic like when Fife and Cripps went at it sort of last year, or how do you see the matchup going?
I think traditionally what this will be, and TPI at the bottom there, it's played this matchup 1,000 times.
Yep.
And it's predicting that what will happen is Yeo and Cripps will go head to head. So if Cripps has 30,
yep,
Yeo needs to get 30, job done. So it's going to be a matchup job in that aspect. I don't think it'll be a tag job.
Yep.
It'll be just literally Simpson will say, you've got to match whatever Cripper does. And quite convincingly in Carlton's favour, it's saying 67% to Cripps, 23 to Yeo, and 10% would be a tie.
Right. So this has simulated the game 1,000 times, and out of 1,000 times, 67% of those times, Cripps comes out with the chocolates.
Yep. So TPI telling us Carlton will win this weekend. Then.
Okay. Very interesting. How do you see this playing out? Would you like to see a one-on-one sort of head-to-head Cripps and Yeo matchup, or do you prefer something like a Jack Silvani or an Ed Curnow type playing on Yeo? Let us know in the comments below. This should be a fascinating matchup.